Yeah! Boom! Yes! It's a giant.
While Kentucky Lake is famous for its deep water ledges, its diversity expands across its 160,000 surface acres and over 2,300 miles of shoreline. The final and largest impoundment on the Tennessee River, this 184-mile-long man-made reservoir is the largest of its kind east of the Mississippi.
In my eyes, it's the shining star on the Tennessee River.
It's full of fish, and you can catch them so many different ways.
It is the best structured lake in the United States.
Kentucky Lake sits alongside Guntersville and Okeechobee when it comes to legendary bass fisheries. The South's Great Lake is a proving ground for any angler eager to etch his name in history. A win here means something.
Kentucky Lake is a legend, in and of itself.
In 2004, a young Anthony Gagliardi fished deep water ledges and weighed in a mere 5 ounces more than Greg Hackney, who had been running shallow pockets, giving the future Angler of the Year and Forest Wood Cup champion his first Tour victory.
Anthony Gagliardi is the champion here at Kentucky Lake.
Hometown hero Terry Bolton went out with more than 4 pounds separating him from the pack on the final day in 2006. Confident a win was within his reach. But Steve Kennedy dashed his hopes and earned his second Kentucky Lake victory, beating Bolton by only 4 ounces.
Yeah! Came off in the net! Woo!
Chad Grigsby didn't let ounces decide his fate in 2011. Hard and fast cranking on a ledge put enough fish in the boat to give this determined veteran his first Tour win, beating Kentucky pro Kevin Snyder by nearly 7 pounds.
Your champion is Chad Grigsby.
In 2016, conditions were perfect for a ledge fishing slugfest, and Tennessee River hammers like Jason Lambert, Mark Rose, and Brandon Hunter all made it to the final day. Under a scorching June heat wave, Lambert carried a 29-pound bag to the stage and went on to break the FLW Tour total weight record for Kentucky Lake, easily securing his victory on this historic body of water.
97 pounds of Kentucky Lake bass. Wow!
A lake where deepwater crankers and draggers have the same chance at a 24-pound bag as the shallow water pitchers and flippers. It's no wonder Kentucky Lake has been chosen as an FLW Tour stop 11 times in the past 23 seasons. The opportunity to witness a thrilling triumph and crown a new champion will always bring us back to these shores. Kentucky Lake truly is the South's Great Lake.
Without a doubt, wins are significant here. Welcome everyone to FLW Tour coverage here on Kentucky Lake, presented by Costa Sunglasses. I'm Travis Moran alongside Rob Newell. Rob, so many different options from such an amazing fishery. What are we going to see out of these anglers here?
Travis, the dates of this event have landed dead in the middle of the transition. Every day the water's getting warmer and warmer. We're starting to see the first days into the 80s, high 80s. Water's warming from 75, 76, 77. That's when the fish go to the ledges. There have been guys that have been able to catch them on the bank the first day, but as this tournament has progressed, the deep bite is the bite that is producing the bigger fish.
I'm fishing some deep places, 15 to 20, cranking and throwing swim baits on them today.
One of the things that's been a little misleading so far in this tournament is how many fish these guys are catching. We're seeing some big weights come to the scales, but in reality, these guys are working hard just to put 5 in the box.
It's not typical Kentucky Lake like it used to be, where you see them, you just pull up and catch them. So it's a grind. It really is a grind. I only had 8 keeper bites yesterday.
It's not the same Kentucky Lake that we've been used to here in the last 3 or 4 years, where you have to have 20 pounds just to get in the top 20. We're seeing after 2 days of competition, a lot of guys made checks not even catching a limit both days. That's kind of uncharacteristic of Kentucky Lake. There's several things involved with that people are talking about. The Asian carp are a concern. Hearing about some year classes of fish that might be missing. The shad hasn't been as prevalent. So the numbers of fish are not there, but the guys like Randy Haynes and Jason Lambert that are out there on those ledges where those post-spawn fish first come to, they are like in a class of their own at this point.
Absolutely. If there were 2 guys without a doubt were going to be fishing the ledges, never even thought about going shallow, it's these 2 guys, and it's really become their tournament. It's a head-to-head match, and the rest is just trying to keep up. But it's day 3 today, guys, and only 30 anglers have made it this far, with only 10 that are going to move on to the 4th and final day tomorrow. So let's throw it down to the dock as these guys get ready to blast off.
All right, let's get this party started.
The fish here they want to live offshore. I mean, it's a current-based fishery. It's a huge fishery. I mean, there's 130 miles of fishable water, but you know, the last 80 miles of it or so is where you actually get into the ledge type fishing, the ledge style of fishing. And as soon as those fish spawn, typically they go straight out there. In my morning stop this morning, it's just a post-spawn area. And like I said, it's a current facing point of the end of a bar. You know, top of it's in about 22, 23. Falls off into 45, 50 feet of water out on the end, but it's just one of those current facing points that the bait set up on, so naturally the fish set up on.
You know, I've been sitting here and catching all my fish off this hole.
I started here the first day and caught 23 pounds.
Bet you did. Everybody knows how you are, Lambert.
Ask Clint. I came by here yesterday to try to get on it, and you started on it.
You need to go to your shallow bar where you said you caught them.
I can't help it, we found the same school.
Wow, Rob, take a look at this. Our number 1 angler, Randy Haynes, and number 2, Jason Lambert, make 20-mile runs to start the morning and end up on the exact same spot.
We had kind of a hint that this could possibly happen. These two guys have fished this spot the last couple of days without each other being around, so we knew there was a possibility here.
Caught 23 pounds here, didn't you? Yeah.
We thought maybe they had talked about it and agreed upon it, but clearly that's not the situation.
Well, leave now, go to your shallow fish. You ain't gonna burn the fish where I've been sitting all day up.
As this starts to unfold this morning, you can see the body language, you can see the conversation they're having. This is not something that they agreed upon or had any gentleman's agreement about back at the bank.
Well, I ain't leaving, so.
So you're saving your shallow fish for tomorrow, huh?
It's really a giant community hole. It gets fished a lot. It's unfortunate, I hate that it happened, but you know, all you can do at a point after that is just put your head up, you know, go fishing, see what happens, and that's what we did.
You had this giant lake, and everybody's like, how do two people on this giant lake end up on the same spot? And it's one of these issues where, you know, on the first day of the tournament, it's about boat number, it's about boat draw. Lambert was a little earlier the first morning. He got on that spot, caught a few, got his day off to a good start. A little bit later, Haynes goes by. He sees there's nobody there. He rolls in there. He catches some. He decides that's where he's going to hunker down. He's decided this is the best spot on the lake right now. And day 2 comes around. The boats flip-flop. So Randy Haynes gets that place first. And Jason, you know, goes on by him. And then we come to day 3, and now it becomes a boat race to that spot. Both of these guys have determined this is the best spot in their arsenal, and this is where they're going to go win a tournament.
You know where somebody sits for 2 days straight, and you come over and start on it. You know exactly where I've been catching them. You ain't got nowhere else to go, so you're going to start here.
You a sorry son of a gun, dude. If you think I'm leaving, you're wrong.
Same old story. I'll tell you what, you can have it. I'm finna go to the damn house. I gotta go to work anyhow.
Unbelievable.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Rob, okay, you say things in, you know, the heat of a moment and stuff, but do you really think he's about to throw it in?
Here, good luck. Catch him up.
Man, I hate to say this, but the way he put that rod down and strapped his rods down, I'm gonna take his word for it. I think he's going home.
Well, Lambert made it clear he's not going anywhere. He's going to be fishing this spot, and as Haynes leaves, we now are going to find out if Lambert can shake this little confrontation and just focus on the fishing.
Well, that was interesting. Never in my entire fishing career have I had anything like that to happen.
Haynes, he gets to the point at which he's going to be on Kentucky Lake, his house, his style fishing, and he gets there and he's going to have to be boat to boat with another guy, and he's just not going to put up with that.
Jason didn't violate any rule whatsoever. I've been on the phone with Randy. There's a possibility at this point in time that he could still finish in the top 10.
Both of these guys recognize that they had both been on the spot during the first 2 days, and it was a boat race.
It's hard to beat the drama we've seen unfold this morning. The leader of the tournament has taken himself out of contention and off the water. Stay tuned, there's more coverage from Kentucky Lake when we return.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by Costa Del Mar. See what's out there. TH Marine, from transom to trolling motor. Yeti, built for the wild. General Tire, anywhere is possible. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. And by BRP Evinrude. Learn more at evinrude.com.
There you go. Get your heart pumping. Oh my gosh, it's giant. It's a drum. Shoot, it fought like crazy.
Kind of going the big side.
Welcome back, everyone. The third day of the FLW Tour on Kentucky Lake had all the makings of a showdown, but then leader Randy Haynes withdrew himself from the competition day, and that has left Jason Lambert all alone atop the leaderboard.
It's got to be drying up, though. I mean, I caught 23 something off of it Thursday morning. He caught 26 off of it Thursday afternoon. He had 19 yesterday. When I came back up yesterday afternoon, Thrift was fishing it. A lot of those fish spawn out there on those shallow bars. A lot of those bars top out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet of water. And those fish just slide up on top of that bar, spawn, and then they just slide right back out on the river. It's kind of a resting area for them. It's a recuperating area for them. The bait's out there, it's a lot easier than up shallow chasing a brim or whatever. So it's just the Tennessee River. Kentucky Lake is notorious for ledge fishing because that's what they do every year in May when they spawn, is get out there.
I think you might be working his Jerky J there. That's one of his signature lures is a Jerky J. Good looking Kentucky ledge fish there.
Most terrible net job in the history of time.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Bait fell right out.
Ooh.
5-pounder.
As things start to settle down from the early morning excitement, you got to think this isn't something that you would put into your roadmap to victory, right? That Haynes isn't going to stick around for the entire event. So why don't you take a second real quick and break down General Tire roadmap to victory?
Yeah, Travis, I mean, no matter what happens out there in the water, I'm staying to these 3 points for victory lane. You got to dedicate yourself to the offshore bite. That's got to happen. That's where the big ones are going right now. That's where the tournament winning fish are. You've got to commit to that. You cannot go back and forth and jump around. You need to be committed offshore. Also, in terms of lures, you need big fish lures, big gizzard shad imitators. Those big ones like you just saw Jason catch there, that's what they eat. And finally, you gotta find a way to work around this new element, the carp. The carp are kind of getting in the way of being able to see schools. The carp are pushing bass schools around. They're not setting up quite like they used to. So you've got to learn to work around the carp, see through the carp, and not let the carp kind of get in your head. Just work around them and still catch the bass.
And now over to Scott Martin. He really consistently does well on Kentucky Lake and now seems to have the entire south end to himself to really move from shallow to deep and search out his different spots.
While Haynes and Lambert are fighting over a single little tiny spot, Scott has the luxury of the whole south end in New Johnsonville to himself. I mean, he said all week that he hasn't seen many boats down there, and that gives him a lot of freedom to just fish any way he wants to, get in any, he doesn't have to fight for rotation. He can fish anything, anytime he wants to down in New Johnsonville.
To win this tournament, I need one of those days like Lambert had or Randy had, the 24, 25, 26 pound bag. And I feel like it can happen down here. This is a shallow, shallow ledge. When I say shallow, the top of it's in probably 6 to 8 foot of water, and there's big shell and mussel beds in the area. Here's the key. Mussel beds early in the year like this, when these fish first move offshore, are nice because the bottom's a little cooler, there's more oxygen around those mussels, and those fish seem to really gravitate to those mussel beds. I found those spots with my side image. You can kind of see how they brighten up when you go across them, and you'll see the high spots, and then I'll throw a big Carolina rig or a football jig, and you'll feel the shells. And what I do a lot of times is I'll make a real far cast this way and see if I feel them. If I don't feel shells over there, and I make a real far cast over here, nothing over there, then I know this is the sweet spot. Nice.
Scott getting it done early this morning, well after he got up there. After a 70-mile journey,
It really is a unique little area. And he weighted 20 pounds on it yesterday. The one thing he did express, though, that he can't get that kicker. That's what he's really missing in his limits right now. All 5 of his fish yesterday, all about the same, about 4-pounders, and that's what put him at 20 pounds.
4-pounder.
And joining us here in the studio is JT Kenny. JT, thanks for coming in today.
I appreciate it, guys. It's great to be here, man.
Some
Especially
amazing
hanging out with
things.
my old buddy.
Yeah, you guys have gone, you guys go way back here. So
Actually, further than that.
JT, Lambert's making it look easy, when that couldn't be further from the truth. Break us down a little bit on the struggle that these guys are doing to actually just put together a limit, let alone, you know, a 20-pound bag.
To coin the phrase, the struggle is real, it really is. Like Lambert said yesterday, he only caught 5 all day. You know, I think these guys learned how to catch these big fish when there was a lot more fish in the lake, and now there's not as many. And Kentucky Lake has always been one of those places where just about everybody had a limit. A lot of people might have only had an 11-pound limit or a 10-pound limit in previous years, but almost the whole field had a limit. The first day, there was 76 people out of 182 pros that had a 5 bass limit. Only a third of the field caught 5. That's not very good, you know, but the quality's still there.
And now another angler from Minnesota, Josh Douglas. Rob, Josh talked about he's had to make adjustments every day. He's having a slow start today, but day 1, he knew where that school was. He was able to go catch him. Day 2, he went back to that same school. They weren't there. He made some adjustments and actually moved out deeper and reconnected with them.
A key bait for Josh the first couple of days has been a swim bait, you know, some of those big swim baits we've been talking about. And, but man, the swim bait has kind of really petered out on him, and he's had to, you know, pick up some more finesse-y type stuff with a spinning rod here to try and get a school fired up.
I just got to work for him. Stay button, baby. Stay button, baby.
It seems like you're making some long casts there. For how long it take to crank these fish in?
Where are you going? What are you? You're a bass. Stay on there. Come on, come on, just keep coming, just keep coming, just keep coming. Don't do that. They're out here. I mean, you look at that. I'm in 49 feet. I don't know if it's the lack of current. Oh, bear fell out. But I'm happy to have them, man. It's another decent one. I'll do it one at a time.
This is where you want to be after weigh-ins today, because the top 10 are going to be moving on to tomorrow to fish the 4th and final day. More day 3 action from the FLW Tour on Kentucky Lake, presented by Costa Sunglasses. We'll return.
That helps the cause.
Welcome back, everyone, to Kentucky Lake for the 6th stop of the 2018 Tour, presented by Costa Sunglasses. And joining us is JT Kenny.
This lake, you want to start on your best stuff, and you want to end on your best stuff.
Okay.
And that middle of the day
is you kind of experiment around, try and find something else.
Yep.
Never know when it's going to show up.
And in my opinion, and I think some of the other guys that are pretty good at ledge fishing, they don't, if they think they don't have to sit on the school all day to keep other guys off of it, you know, like those couple of places where you might have found that might possibly nobody else found.
That's the cut. I think I made the top 10 with that one.
You let those fish rest during that lull period too, instead of keep showing them the bait, keep showing them the bait. You kind of let them rest, and then the current starts rolling in the afternoon, and you kind of sneak on back up there, and oh look, there's my bait again.
Mark Rose rode the momentum of a 17-pound plus limit on day 2 to make it to the weekend. That fact alone preserves his standing for the Pennzoil Marine Angler of the Year. But now that he's got something figured out, look for him to keep the hammer down.
Had Kentucky Lake cost me the Angler of the Year, then I would have been pretty upset, because this is my favorite lake in the country. But now if St. Clair gets me, I'm content, I'm fine, because I'm gonna go to St. Clair and give it all I got, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I'm okay with that. If this lake would have cost me, I would have known that I didn't do my job and I wasn't the best Mark Rose that I could be that week. And I let kind of the pressure and the carp and all that. And so it's good to turn things around and this lake not get me.
After the day he's having today, he's going to be able to widen that gap going into the last event.
Yeah, he's going to extend his lead for sure. What Lambert's doing with, with that big jerky J and all that stuff, once they get like that 5 pounds and bigger, they start keying on those bigger gizzard shad. And that's how, and Lambert just, dude, he's got that, he's got that dialed in.
Good Lord. That is a great big one. Just don't mess this net up this time.
Jason Lambert, the ledge hammer, stealing the show today.
The jerky J strikes again.
Them big ones might let a Carolina rig go sliding along the bottom, think, why do I want to wag my tail to go do that? But then that big old thing comes waddling through like this and they crush it. Just what you see Lambert doing today, those fish are moving out there. They're just coming.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. Rob. Rob. Are you kidding me?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a friggin' giant. I'm done today, boys. Holy goodness. Look at this friggin' beast.
I want to know if he's going to move after that fish. Can you leave, when you catch a 9-pounder on your last cast, can you leave that spot to just go look around, or is he going to see if there's another 9? The one guy that was closest, started the day in 3rd place, was Scott Martin. Had a lot of ground to make up, but if there's a guy that can do it, Martin knows where these fish are. He has some excellent spots that he's leaned on and had some great finishes over the years on Kentucky Lake.
There's ledge everywhere. There's ledges, the entire lake is a ledge, but the sweet spots are those steep drop-offs in those hard bottom areas, and preferably those shells. That's really the key most of the time, is finding those shell beds. And it's just like a little dinner plate for them. Those bass can lay there, kind of get out of the current. You know, that current comes over the lip of those of that ledge, and those bass can sit down in there, kind of tuck in there. As the bait comes by, they feed. But when the current's not on, those bass don't usually get on those ledges as good and feed because they don't have the upper hand. At that point, the bait doesn't wash across it. The bait's kind of just swimming around, and they have a harder time to feed. So they kind of pick their opportunity. They don't waste a lot of energy running around trying to chase bait. They just don't feed a lot when the current's not going. So that's why you hear us all talking about current and how much current they're pulling. The more current they pull, typically the better those bass bite when you know where they're positioned.
Kentucky Lake is the place to be. Today is moving day. It's day 3. 5 bass limit to get things started. 16 pounds, 7 ounces, 19 pounds, 8 ounces, 17 pounds, 5 ounces.
I've got a chance, okay? But I'm gonna have to manage things. Things are gonna have to go just right.
New leader, 21 pounds, 14 ounces. Wow!
There's not a lake in the country I'd rather go to than Kentucky Lake. Well, after 3 days of practice and after the first day of the tournament, I would rather been anywhere than Kentucky Lake, and now I'm glad we're on Kentucky Lake.
Back in 2016, Jason Lambert won this event, a 5 bass limit, 30 pounds, 8 ounces. Wow!
Today, I caught a limit real fast, and it gave me a chance to go try some new water. And I found a little group of fish yesterday afternoon. I didn't know what was there. I found out today.
There's only 5 or 6 guys that's part of that Century Club. You could join that tomorrow with a 25-pound bag.
It's all about being able to fish that next day. With that being said, Michael Neal, sitting in the 25th spot on day 3, weighed in 19 pounds, 10 ounces, moving him from 25th to 7th to make the cut, earning him the Evinrude Big Mover from day 3.
Everybody's got a different goal now. I'm sure Scott, in the back of his mind is, okay, let me see how far I can get in this thing. And it's points, it's money, so there you go, what a lead.
This has turned into the Jason Lambert Invitational out here on Kentucky Lake. So the rest of us are probably fishing for 2nd place today, but I've been doing this long enough. You never know what might happen in these 4-day tournaments. There's a lot that goes on, and We're gonna go out there and try and catch as much as we can today. There's lots of money still on the line, and we all want a piece of it.
It's the fourth and final day here at Kentucky Lake, and only 10 anglers are left to battle it out for up to $125,000 payday. Rob, the morning looks beautiful. Conditions seem to be stabilizing. Jason Lambert had over 30 pounds yesterday, and conditions seem to be actually improving.
Basically, all week long, the weather's gotten hotter and hotter, stiller and stiller. You know, they're pulling more and more water, and that generally just means, you know, these fish that are done spawning are finding their way out to the ledges. And those kind of conditions, it's been stable enough now where these guys have kind of tracked into the bite, locked into it, and they're now able to really capitalize on that situation.
This is the time I like to fish here. You know, the water temp has finally got hot. Those fish are moving out from shallow to deep on the deep ledges. And that's where the big fish live. That's where they're coming to. And to catch them, that's where you gotta be.
If Lambert hooks up early, it's gonna maybe be lights out for everyone else. But let's talk about some of these other great anglers that are in this top 10. We got Michael Neal, Mark Rose, our Angler of the Year front runner, Scott Martin. Tell me a little bit about what today might mean for them.
Yeah, all these guys are TVA hammers. It kind of took them a day. Seems like it kind of took them a day to get dialed in. You know what I mean? If you look at Neal, had a kind of an off first day. Mark Rose didn't have his typical kind of first day. But the second day, those guys really rebounded. A guy like Alex Davis, another TVA hammer, they really locked in and dialed in to what they needed to be doing. And those guys' weights have really increased since the first day. Now, I'm afraid it's going to be a little too late, because Jason Lambert, man, that guy's just a closer, especially on the TVA.
Rob, you're exactly right. With over 19-pound lead going into this final day, it's probably going to be really tough for any anglers to catch up to him. But that hasn't stopped Lambert from putting a lot of pressure on himself. He's a bundle of nerves taking off here today.
Day 4 with a 19-pound lead. I didn't think I'd ever be here, so I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. Y'all stay tuned. I found this spot on Friday afternoon, and there was just a few fish there. It wasn't super big, but Saturday, after I caught that good bag early, I ran up there, and immediately I caught 2 5-pounders and a 9. So I knew that the potential was there when I saw those gizzard shad jumping on it Friday. They don't jump for fun. Something was after them. So also, that place hasn't been getting fished. Everything else that I've been fishing has been getting fished, so I knew those fish would be fresher and probably more willing to eat. So that was the decision I made to go over there, and that's why. First cast, baby.
First cast. Still see the boat wake settling down from the flotilla. Like I said, you get real anxious about how your day's gonna go, and those first few minutes are really, really tense. And well, when this happens on your first cast.
It's one of them.
He already knows, because it's like, if there's one on the first cast, there's a school there, and they're fixing to get crazy for him.
So it's only like a 5-minute run over there. It's just right across the lake, basically. So I get there, I idle over, sure enough, there they are. I stand up, first cast, 3-pounder. Get it in the boat, and I'm like, all right, good. That ain't a 3-pounder there. Second cast, I'm like, okay, here we go. Ball game.
There's not many times when your second fish of a day you can call ball game. If you can't tell, Lambert is stoked right now. He's breathing heavy.
Another 3-pounder.
For those of you that want to know what this beat down is coming on, it's castaic bait, jerky jig. It's actually not like even a boot tail swim bait. It's more of a straight tail looking bait. He gives it action by putting it on a scrounger, more of a scrounger head.
Didn't miss him.
And that's what happens.
Third cast, 5-pounder. Now it's really over. I knew, that was 11, half 12 pounds with 3 fish, and it's the first 3 casts of the day. So that's a pretty relaxing way to start the day. That gives me about 11 pounds. So I'm gonna say it's over.
That's the way to get your day started right there, Travis.
We'll have some other action for you from more FLW coverage on Kentucky Lake in just a minute.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Oh, God. That's gotta be smallmouth, man.
I think I just won $125,000.
Welcome back. Day 4 coverage here on Kentucky Lake, presented by Costa Sunglasses. It's been all about the Jason Lambert show. They're just
unstoppable.
Rob, this has been an amazing tournament. It keeps getting better. It was slow to begin with, but we have seen some huge fish come to the scales.
Yeah, I think people are finally starting to dial the program in a little bit. You have about half the crowd up there in the north end on Kentucky Lake, and the other half down around the Paris Bridge and Sandy Creek area has been real popular.
Scott Martin making the long run all the way down south for the 4th day in a row, and it looks like he's gonna have it all to himself again.
Scott has given up 10 or 11 hours of fishing time just to come to New Johnsonville every day. But here's the benefit. He has the entire area to himself. He can bounce around deep, shallow, do whatever he wants to. And looks like he's gonna take advantage of that, because this morning he's just gonna move up and start shallow.
So there's some big ones in here. I caught 19 pounds off of it in the morning on day 2. So there's some big ones in here. What's really neat about this spot is it has some big mussel beds there. There's not mussel beds everywhere on the river, but this area right here has got a lot of mussel beds. And those fish, I believe, when they first come off the beds, they like to sit on those mussels because it's cooler water, and I think it has better oxygen down there as well. So those fish are sitting up on the shallowest part of those mussel beds, probably 4 to 5 foot of water. I'm making really long casts. The reason I'm staying off so far, making really long casts, is I don't want those fish to get used to hearing the boat. I want to really sneak up on them the best I can and stay way away from them.
And Scott off to a lot better morning than he has been the last few days.
Yeah. Yesterday, he had a late flurry yesterday.
You know, to get 45 pounds, dude, I got to get 8-pounders.
Now here's an angler that's really worked hard to get to this 4th day. Josh Douglas really trying many different techniques here on Kentucky Lake.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it is he's taken the very finessey end of the spectrum and the biggest swim bait end of the spectrum, and those are his 2 baits. So he gets them fired up with the drop shot, the little tiny finesse bait, and then once he gets a bite or 2 on that, he switches back to the other end of the spectrum, the big giant swim bait, and it's working for him.
This is only my 2nd year on the tour, but I've been fishing some national tournaments now for about 4 or 5 years. You become a good fisherman, you gotta have good instinct, you gotta make decisions out on the water. I leaned on that drop shot for most of the tournament yesterday. I didn't have the best of days yesterday, but I made it happen. Look at that, she's a beauty. Look at that, that is still dripping. She just come off the bed. Get out here in like 35, 40 feet and heel up. I mean, man.
The man, the myth, the all-time FLW money winner with a cool $3.5 million, David Dudley. David, thank you for coming in, man.
Oh, I'm excited. Anytime I get to watch what the top guys are doing on a lake, it gives me chill bumps to know what I did wrong, number one, and then I get to learn something.
Dudley, he may not have beat Lambert this time, but he's going to figure out what he was beat by and be that much better off after the fact.
We all trick out our baits a little bit, and he has made mention that actually what he's done is replace the actual plastic collar. He's figured out something with this collar to make it give more action.
Jason Lambert, is he gonna hit the century mark? Is he gonna break 100 and join that elite group of anglers that have weighed in over 100 pounds in a 4-day tournament?
Hopefully one day I'll be able to do that.
At this point, I got like 24 pounds, maybe 25 pounds. The big kicker though, I know the tournament's over. I know I've won the tournament. I can go in, park it on the trailer now, and rest the rest of the day. But I was only 25 pounds and 5 ounces off of 100. And the Century Club is something not a lot of guys get to do in this industry, and that's what I went and swung for the rest of the day. That's him.
That's him. I want to know if he ever caught a small fish all week.
Coming up, coming up. That's it, boys. That's the ball game.
It seemed like they kept getting bigger and bigger every spot he went to.
A Jerky J.
That's 100.
He really does have something special with that Jerky J too, because there are so many anglers that know he throws that, and they have not been able to
crack the code on it yet. They have not cracked the code.
That's 100 pounds, baby, for sure.
Some of these guys will be working on that in the off season, trying to crack that code a little bit and figure out what the little key gig is in that Jerky J, scrounger situation.
More action from the final day when we return.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by Lowrance HDS Carbon. Find, navigate, dominate with Lowrance. Real Tree Fishing, the official pattern of FLW. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Polaris, the world leader in off-road vehicles. And by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
Well, guys, I'm done. I quit. Calling it up. My bottom fish is a 5+. I've never been in this situation before. I've never came in at 12 o'clock. I think we got it done today.
Giant smallmouth. Wow. I was not expecting that, but that's like a 5-pounder.
The magic time out here has been in the afternoon. Yeah, he's over 3.
I've been kind of out of rhythm today. One guy that followed me all day yesterday, I've seen him on 3 of my best places as I've gone by, and it bothered me. Anyway, it's worked out for 5. We still got to try to cull some.
We got 19. We're over 19.
Welcome back, Kentucky Lake. Stop number 6, day 4. Look at our leaderboard here. Jason Lambert, of course, we're pretty official that he's beaten the 100-pound mark, that century. But second place, we really overlooked this, and I can't emphasize enough. There is a grudge match going on right now for that second place spot. Josh Douglas putting things together. Scott Martin, you can never count him out. He's going to keep changing things up. Even Mark Rose, we watched, has a lot of room to move up the leaderboard. How about Michael Neal? Has had an amazing tournament. Day 1 didn't do very well, but then has just been surging the entire time. And today, it's been a lot of the same.
Yeah, from 99th place right into the top 10. Got to hand it to Michael Neal. He's really, as a young angler, he's learning how to kind of trust his intuition. If he doesn't have a good practice, just go in the tournament and kind of fish by the seat of his pants. And that's how he got onto this. He's going around these points over here in Sandy Creek, and he's making it work for him.
I'm fishing a river channel drop that's got a little ditch mouth that cuts into it, just a current break for these fish. The current has been smoking at times this week, where you have to position your boat to throw upstream because you can't throw against it or beside it because your bait will just wash down by the boat.
Wow, what a fish. That's got to be 7 pounds.
The second place is what's up for grabs now. We might be looking at a guy that went from 99th place to 2nd place, and this might help him get his biggest stringer of the week.
Now here, look at Scott Martin. He actually called me first thing this morning. He said, Travis, I'm going to weigh in 42 pounds today. I'm just calling you to let you know.
You see how long that cast was?
Getting away from the boat.
Yep, being important. You know, it's important to staying far away from the boat.
The trick with this hair jig is to be in this up position like this, because when they bite it, they thump it. You know, they hit it on the fall. They never hit it going up. Oh my gosh, dude, it feels really big. I don't know. Oh, it is. It's a good one.
Apparently one of the prime windows going on right now is right before the last hour or 2 of the day, and he's missing it because he's running 70 miles during when he should be fishing. He said from a strategy standpoint, that was an error on his part.
How about that?
Well,
we got him second place.
Call it what you want to call it. My boy's in second. So you're second to the king of Kentucky Lake. Yeah, I wouldn't beat yourself up too bad, Scott.
Wow. Josh Douglas, Rob, he's really worked hard to stay in the top. He has caught him different ways every day. He's tried everything from a drop shot to big old swim baits.
Josh's first, top 10 day, first time in a day 4 action for an FLW Tour event. So reach this level, it's pretty special.
I swear, since I was a kid, I didn't think I'd be in well, I guess I'm not in a shootout per se on Kentucky Lake, but I am with the rest of the field. There she is. Biggin.
Look at his rod. He's on the drop shot again.
Yeah, he's got him fired up.
That's a biggin. Come here, baby. Come here. In the net. Yes!
Wow, nothing but net on that one, Rob.
Dude.
Swoosh.
The lake is being good. To me. we're over 21. I'm sure Rose and Martin are good for 25 today. I don't know how it's gonna shake out, dude, but I did my job.
That spot's heating up right there.
More FLW coverage on Kentucky Lake in just a minute.
Yeah! Boom! Giant smallmouth. Look at that thing.
I just gotta keep rotating through the baits. They get sick and tired of seeing the drop shot. I give them the big swim bait. Then I get a bite or two. They get sick of the swim bait. I give them the Carolina rig. It could be as big as you feel, dude. Come here, 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 come here. Up in. Ah, dang it! Why didn't I wait to get the net? One bonehead move, and I tried to boat flip one that could have definitely helped me, and now I feel like we're in a game of ounces here for the second place. God dang it, why didn't I wait for the net?
You know, special day obviously today, but that all stemmed on the rest of this tournament. And, you know, yesterday, the Mercury moment happened when Lambert caught that 9-pounder, biggest fish in the entire tournament. And from there, I mean, that was the ledge hammer, putting the nail in the coffin on the rest of the field. And right there, you can see on his right hand, 9+ pounds. Jason Lambert, that is the Mercury moment of the tournament.
Here we are, day 4, Championship Sunday. We're down to the best of the best. Wow! The rock star. Nice fish on Championship Sunday. Is it the kicker? A 5-bass limit for California's Cody Meyer. A huge bag on day 4 for Tennessee's Michael Neal. 23 pounds and 5 ounces.
Yeah, I couldn't be any happier with this. I mean, I started out in 99th place, and just to come make the top 10 is even special.
A former Forest Wood Cup champion, John Cox. He's got 4 in the bag, worth $813. Jeff Gustafson, 3 championship Sundays out of 6 events. Huge smallmouth, the kicker for Gussie. That is awesome. A 5-bass limit for Minnesota's Josh Douglas. 21 pounds and 8 ounces does move you to second.
I just swing for it when I come here. That's how this lake rewards you. Anywhere you're at on the Tennessee River, don't be shy. They eat big gizzard shad. Throw them big baits. Be aggressive, and this lake will reward you for sure.
A 6-time FLW Tour champion. 29 top 10s. A 5-bass limits. Getting it done on Championship Sunday. Worth 19 pounds, 9 ounces. Scott Martin, who comes from that legendary fishing family, to dethrone Lambert. You need 19 pounds and 4 ounces.
What do I need for second?
About 17.5 pounds. What you got? Wow! A 5-bass limit for Florida Scott Martin. Worth 18 pounds, 6 ounces, moves you to second place with 73 pounds, 9 ounces of Kentucky Lake bass.
That's him. That's 100.
You guys ready to shatter some records?
That's 100 pounds, baby, for sure.
Welcome, Jason Lambert.
A 5-bass limit on Championship Sunday for Jason Lambert. 27 pounds, 3 ounces, 101 pounds, and 9 ounces. The records fall on Championship Sunday. Wow!
Man, it's been phenomenal. And yeah, 101 pounds, that's a lot. That's a lot of fish. That's a lot of weight in 4 days. And you know, this is a great area, great people, great lake.
Now it's really
you know, we
over.
talked a little bit about the carp this week, and hopefully Kentucky and Tennessee, Alabama, everybody get together and we'll get a solution to that. Y'all take care of this place, man. It's special. I know it's special to y'all. it's special to me too.
101 pounds and 9 ounces of Kentucky Lake bass for Jason Lambert. The Tennessee River Goat gets it done this week on Kentucky Lake.